Hi, good morning. Thank you for giving the opportunity to be here. So my name is Anatoly Gelimson, and I'm a co-founder of FastDemocracy, which is a legislative analytics platform that helps both citizens like you and also businesses and advocacy groups stay more informed on legislation that they care about. So we got our start because of my wife. She is the policy director for a major legal nonprofit, and she at one point came home and complained how she was tracking hundreds of bills, so like 400 bills in the Missouri legislature, and you know, those bills were moving, they were getting amended, there were hearings scheduled on them, and if you've ever tried to follow along with legislation, you know, unless it's your full-time job, you kind of go crazy keeping track of all that and knowing when the right time is to act. So she basically complained to me, and I was a bit surprised by how low-tech this whole legislative space is, and that's how we started developing FastDemocracy to help people be informed on legislation. Just to give you an idea what we're facing here when it comes to legislation. So, as you probably know, some of the most sweeping changes to our way of life actually happen at state level and at local level. But tracking that legislation can be a full-time job, as I've mentioned, with all the changes that are constantly happening to those hundreds or even thousands of bills. So to give you an example, in Missouri this year there have been around 2,000 bills, and roughly 400 of them were of a controversial nature. So it would be on things like abortion, immigration, environment, you know, things that many of us do care about a lot in one way or the other, no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on. And oftentimes the problem is that people oftentimes learn about those bills only when they are in their final stages and about to pass. That's when the press coverage really picks up. But by that time it's quite late to do anything about it. Those bills are about to pass, and they're about to be signed by the governor or by whoever else is in charge. And if you really want to affect change, then you need to know in advance what action to take and when to take it. And this is the problem that we are trying to solve for everybody. So we are a team of three, a core team of three. There is Jill Klein. She is a former state senator. She's a former chief of staff for a state senator. There's me, I'm the CTO. I have a data science background and a PhD in theoretical physics. And Sarah Baker, my wife, she's the chief innovation officer, and she is also the legislative and policy director for a Missouri nonprofit. And we have two versions of FastDemocracy. One version is for you, so it gives you some tools to know in advance what is happening. It gives you daily emails. It gives you the ability to contact your legislators and to write comments and notes. But then we also have the professional version, which gives so much more and is in particular interesting for nonprofits, for companies, for lobbyists, for people who have especially some boots on the ground in the Capitol buildings and who need to react quickly, who need those instant alerts, who are reading a ton of text, and we can help them cut down on their reading by a lot. And also people who want to keep their members informed or their supporters. So this is essentially what we're doing for them. And without further ado, let me show you a little bit on what FastDemocracy is about. If this presentation reacts. There we go. Alright, so this is how the main page looks like. Let's start by finding out who your legislators are. I go to find your legislators, and we are currently in the T-Rex building, so that's where we are. And let's see who our representative and our senator is for the state of Missouri. So it's Bruce Franks and Jamila Nasheed. You can see how the districts look like. And if you want to click on any one of them, anywhere in the user interface, you can click on a person and you can see many things about them. You can contact them, you can see their information, you can see what bills they've sponsored. Voting history is one of the exciting features here. So if you want to find out how your legislators have voted in Missouri, then you actually, without FastDemocracy, you have to read through the daily PDFs from the years 2015, 16, 17, and 18. And we give you a way of looking it up within seconds just by saying, I'm interested in, say, agriculture. I click on it and I can see how he voted on agriculture bills. And this is also a tool that is quite popular for opposition research. So we have a lot of campaigns signing up and figuring out how their opponent has previously voted on various issues. And in addition to this, you can see news stories on people. Here you go, or you can also see what has been tweeted about those people. And then let's go to the tracking part. So I click on my track topics. This is how most people will get their start. I basically say I'm interested in those issues here. So let's say I'm also interested in environment legislation, and there's a topic that's not on there, for example, employment. So let me quickly add it. There we go. Save and exit. And if I want to, I never have to visit FastDemocracy again, because from now on I'll be getting emails if some of those bills on environment or employment or any other topic that I've chosen, if there are some changes to those bills. And it will also alert you when you need to come out to Jefferson City or to your state capital in order to testify and make your voice heard. So let's look at, for example, since we are in an entrepreneurial community, let's look at some workforce development bills that I'm also tracking. So here you see one that has recently been signed by the governor on workforce development. I can see a summary of that bill, which will hopefully help me understand it. I can see what has been tweeted about it in the past, which again especially is interesting for like more the citizen, because it really helps you interpret bills and see what other people are saying about it. And then this is a professional feature. It's bill similarity detection. So what this essentially does is it is an algorithm that detects if there is similarity between this bill and any other bill in Missouri, or also any other bill nationwide. And this helps you also cut down on reading time. It helps you identify differences, and also, especially nationwide, I don't know if you're familiar with the concept of model legislation. Oftentimes, especially in states, legislation is not originally written by some sponsors in the legislature. It's written by some sort of lobbying firms or some sort of organizations that are pushing the same legislation in multiple states. And with the nationwide bill similarity detection, you can actually see in what states similarly worded bills are, and also maybe figure out who is behind those bills. So here we see this is for Missouri, and we can see that there have been some similarities detected to multiple bills, and we can click on compare to figure out where exactly the similarities and the differences are. So you can see here the bills side by side. and you can also see the similarities highlighted over here. So you know that you also, if you scroll down from this main field, you also get some news stories on bills, and you can also see all the votes that have happened on this bill. So in this case, this bill has been relatively uncontroversial, so most votes actually have been, sorry, I should have said this bill has been uncontroversial until it got amended, and then this seems to be more of a party line vote in the end, so it seems like there has been an amendment that was that became controversial. And then you obviously can see all the recent actions and all the amendments and everything that is on there. And again, if there is something that is newsworthy, we will also alert you via email about that. And if you are particularly interested in a bill, you can always click Track Bill, and it goes to My Tracked Bills. You can also comment on a bill, so I can write something like this, and write my own comment. And I can also create bill lists, and I can add those bills to different lists. So I can say, for example, I want to put this bill on my website, so other people can see that I care about this bill, and they can also then subscribe themselves to my list of bills. I'll briefly show you how that one looks like. Yeah, so this is one of our customers, Promo, which is a statewide LGBT organization, and they essentially have embedded our widget on their website. And one of the cool things about this widget is that anybody can come along and say, hey, I want to receive updates on LGBT bills in Missouri, and I can just click subscribe to this list and give you a name and email address, and then they will get updates on bills that this particular organization would care about, and also with their comments, with explanations what those bills are, with any requests for action that might happen. So yeah, that's mostly it in a nutshell. I mean, there are always some smaller features that help you cut down on time, like, for example, the bill calendar. Currently, you would have to count on in which position the bill is to figure out whether it will come up soon or not. So we are helping with this, and we are saying this bill is in position number 3 and it's about to come up tomorrow. We also have amazing amendment tracking, again for professionals, so that they don't miss anything that is going on the floors. So that's basically a brief rundown of our platform, and with this, I think I'll want to yield to questions, and also a little request for you. Are there any people that I and my team should talk to? Someone who would be interested in it, be it from an activist perspective or be it from a paying customer perspective. And in general, overall, we love being connected to others who might help us, and others who are just nice people and we want to get a coffee with them. So thank you for your time, and I'm looking forward to the questions.
Have you talked to any of the news organizations?
To news organizations, I've had one meeting with a journalist, but other than this, so this is a field, so basically there are 2 fields where we currently suck at reaching out. Those are journalists and schools, so it can also be used for educational purposes, students, instead of learning in theory how a bill becomes a law, they could follow along with the process and maybe also make their voices heard. And journalists, of course, they are reporting on various levels of government, yes, for them it's a tool to keep track of what is going on. So that being said, of course, the bigger business is probably the nonprofits and the lobbyists and the businesses. That being said, we think it's a great growth field, and we would love to get connected to more of a journalistic field. Yeah.
And I've got a microphone here, so please wait for a microphone so camera can pick it up.
Sorry, I walked in late, so you might have covered this. Two things. Number one, you might want to get connected to academics as well, because publications is one way to validate things, as you said that. The other thing would be, do you track campaign contributions and funding sources and put those up on there?
This is something that will be in the making for next year. We don't currently do it.
Because that's super valuable. I mean, that's really where you can really see why the motivations behind these politicians.
Yeah, that's absolutely valid. I mean, there are of course other organizations that track this, and also with the rise of super PACs to some extent, it's a little bit tough to track. That being said, so we this has been brought up to us several times, and it seems like, again, for Congress, it's relatively well tracked, but the lower down you go in level, the worse it basically becomes, and we will also want to solve this problem with our system.
Yeah, because the fact that you have everything there, like the bills, their activities, the money really matters. And for the lower down candidates and stuff, you can actually scrape a lot of that from just news clippings and things.
Yeah. I mean, we do have news, of course, but yes.
So is this going to be expanded at any point to like the federal level, so that way we can kind of track both state and federal, and then in regards to that, like presidential candidates for the election?
Yeah, so we are at US Congress level, we are at state level. We have just finished our 50-state expansion of the professional version, so all the professional features are also available in all 50 states, and we will also go to the local level. When it comes to presidential campaigns, that's a tough one. We would need to think how it would fit into our overall framework and not overlap with other websites that are also, of course, tracking presidential campaigns. Yeah, we are mostly focused on legislation, and we're mostly focused on the day-to-day. We are a tool mostly for people who want to do more than vote every 2 or 4 years and make their voices heard. That being said, we do have an aspiration to also become a platform for all levels of government, and this includes presidential candidates just as much as it includes school districts. Imagine one platform where everything were easy to find and where all the information you need on all levels of government were just there, and you would actually know what's going on, because literally no one has the time to go through some poorly designed websites from all levels of government to figure out what to focus on.
Thank you for the presentation. It was great. Thanks. So I have a quick series of questions about commercialization plans. So, commercialization plans. So certainly, you're clear that there's a pro platform as one revenue stream. In terms of secondary revenue streams, are there plans to, commercialize or otherwise create revenue streams from anonymized user data, or secondarily as a platform for advocates to have some sort of potential prediction of how legislators might be voting, and then use that to focus their efforts?
Yes, absolutely. So we have a little bit of that with the voting records when it comes to well, not necessarily prediction, but kind of an overview. But machine learning is also very much on our list, and we will do it in the next few months. Again, as you've said, to predict voting outcomes, and more importantly, to also predict swing votes, and also predict who are the big stakeholders, who do I need to talk to in order to get things done. So yes, absolutely. When it comes to mining data about legislators, we have no problem with that. When it comes to mining a lot of data from users and then selling it even in an anonymized form, we are currently not comfortable with that. I'm not sure if we will be comfortable. And also our terms and conditions, the way we've worded them explicitly outlaw that. And yeah, we want people to feel comfortable using our system, and we don't want to feel like their information is being sold. So this is not on our list.
Excellent. And then just one quick follow-up, since you mentioned the machine learning piece, what development stack are you planning on implementing for the machine learning part? Is it Python?
It's all so it's all Python. The front end is PHP, the back end is all Python, and we'll have an API. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the tech, but I want to know about like the accuracy, like, or how often do you update your information, like especially when like Bruce Franks, he actually resigned like back. You know, so yeah, so accuracy and then revenue model. I don't know if you spoke about that. Like, are you just charging people like a monthly subscription or who? Or?
Yeah, so with Bruce Franks, you're absolutely right. The reason there's no one else in the system right now. So this is updated daily. The reason Bruce Franks is still around in the system is that no one else has filled the position yet. But when it comes to updating legislation, we update it in a smart way, literally like every 2-3 minutes. So if someone is in the Capitol, they can expect to, and something changes, they can expect to get an update within a few minutes of something happening. So.
What about your defensibility, like with other platforms? Like, do you have like an API directly tied into the different state level, or like what's that? Or
you mean whether we have whether we offer an API?
Yeah. How are you making sure that you're getting reliable information fast?
Well, we essentially have our own monitoring and quality control systems that help us alert if something is not running, or help us alert if some information for that particular bill has changed in unexpected ways. Those are the big things that we are doing. And also, I mean, we have experience. We have paying customers this year, and the information that we've given them has been accurate, and we have no complaints. It has been timely and accurate. You know, it's about essentially spending a ton of time with all those state websites, showing some love to them, and getting as much information out of them as possible, and then it will be accurate and it will be good.
Okay. This is a news service. It's a niche, but it's a news service like Bloomberg or United Press International, both of whom should be your customers, by the way. Seriously.
That would be amazing.
I would not talk to journalists. I would talk to the editors. Talk to the editors, any online news service, the editors, because they're the ones that need to see this kind of stuff in order to know who to assign to what. Okay, go from the top here. Because A, those services are in competition with each other to who gets the first scoop on what's the latest information. If you've got to tie into any legislator, that is so important in terms of the news cycle. So get to the folks on top.
We'll do our best.
It's like,
absolutely.
who's doing sales for you? Because they can afford it as well. They're paying
this
thousands.
is pittance for them, yeah.
They're paying thousands of dollars for news services.
Yeah.
And you should be part of that pot.
On that note, I should also mention our pricing. So, we have a free version, and then we have the professional one, which is $1,500 per state per year, and then we also have a 50-state subscription, which is $25,000, which is on the moderate side, as you pointed out, compared to what other people are paying, and the couple $1,000s could make a huge difference for various stakeholders if they get legislation passed that they want to pass, and they would either save money or it would prevent them from losing money.
All right, are there any further audience questions? All right, well, thank you very much. And you touched at the end of what the community can do for you. I'm just blown away that this seems like it, as Mary said, it's a news source. I just think it should be a government offering. Like, this should just be in existence without you having to create it. So thank you.
Yeah, the reason we exist is basically that government websites, most of them are pretty awful, and there isn't that much money being invested in improving them, fiscal responsibility and stuff. Why don't we spend the money elsewhere? But yeah, it is important to keep people informed, and it is important that that everybody has a say, and not only giant corporations like Walmart who can afford to have lobbyists on the ground in every single state. So thank you so much.
Thank you.